Welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today we're going to be making peach cobbler. Old-fashioned tasting, very delicious, down-home, lip-licking peach cobbler. So let's get started with the ingredients that you're going to need. Now, I used to make my peach cobbler, and I used to slave over making my pie crust in order to get the dough that goes inside of the peach cobbler and in order to get the dough that's going to go on the top of it. But I'm going to show you an easier way that tastes just as good as that do if you know how to mix your ingredients. So let's get started with what you're going to need. You're going to need 2 cans of peaches, and these are 29-ounce cans of peaches, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour them in this pot because I have it sitting right here. Now, I use the juices. Some people don't use the juices from their peach cobbler, from their peaches, cans of peaches, but I do. And what I do is I pour off a little bit of the juice from one can in order to make the thickener that you're going to be making with the cornstarch. So let me repeat the ingredients. That's 2 cans of peaches. This is 2.5 cups of sugar, nutmeg, cinnamon, lemon flavor, vanilla flavor, butter. You're going to need cornstarch. And this is just the Pillsbury pie crust. You can use any kind you want to, but just make certain that it's the rolls, not the actual one that comes pre-made so you can bake off, say, a sweet potato pie. No, you want the rolls. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is just a little bit of the juice that I took from one of the cans, and it's about a half a cup of juice that I took from one of the cans, and I'm going to mix up the cornstarch, and you'll see me when I get ready to do that. But right now, I'm going to go ahead, and in my peaches, I'm going to add equal parts of, which is 1 teaspoonful of cinnamon. And if you want a little bit more, you can always add a little bit more. 1 teaspoonful of nutmeg. I'm going to get a spoon real quick. Okay. Then you're going to need a half teaspoon of your lemon flavor. And you're going to need 1 full teaspoonful of your vanilla flavor. Okay, so you're going to mix these ingredients, and I'm going to put this on the stove, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in my sugar because my sugar is going to help to make my thickener that I'm going to need for my peach cobbler. Now, I'm going to put this on my stove, and I'm just going to bring it to a boil, and you'll see me when I get ready to do that. And then I'm going to finish it off in the oven. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you how to cut up this dough and then get it ready to go into your peach cobbler as the dumplings, and then we're going to put some on top. Now, I have this 1 stick of butter, so I'm going to go ahead and break this 1 stick of butter up in there. And I've been doing this, I do it just from memory. I don't really have a recipe for it, but I think that I can figure out one and just post it so you'll be able to do this. And I'm telling you, this is a very good peach cobbler. You cannot tell it from if you had slaved over the stove. And if you want everybody to think that you slaved over the stove, I'll give you a little secret. Just go ahead and take some flour, just sprinkle it on your face and rub a little bit in like you slaved over the stove. They never have to know. Okay, I'll meet you at the stove. Be right back. Okay, now I'm going to mix together before I get started. I'm going to mix my cornstarch. Now here I have 1/4 cup of water, and I have my leftover peach juice that I took from my peaches. Now this is too thick in order to mix it in with the cornstarch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this in with a little bit of water just so it won't be so thick, and I'm going to use 2.5 heaping, really, those are tablespoons full. And I'm going to mix this, and I'm going to add in now you don't need the only reason why I'm using this water is because I need this corn starch to mix well. I don't really need water in order to make my peach cobbler. That's why I'm only using 1/4 cup of the actual water. Now I'm going to mix in those juices that I had that I took from the peaches, and I'm going to mix this up. Now this is going to be the thickening agent for my peach cobbler, and it does not take a long time in order for it to thicken up. So when I add it to the rest of the juices, it's going to thicken up in order to make the thickener for the peach cobbler. Now here is one of the rolls of pie crust, and this is the better one to use, is going to be the pie crust that's in the rolls, not the pie crust. You can use the one that's in the shell, but you just get more when you use this one, and it's going to be easier to work with. So I'm going to leave this roll rolled up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it. Now this is going to be my dumpling that I'm going to use inside of my peach cobbler. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this all through my pan. Now if you want to butter your pan, you can, but it's not necessary because you're going to have liquids flowing from the peaches all through here. Now once I pour the peaches over in here, then I'm going to put some more of this pie crust that's going to make my dumplings. I'm going to put some more of that not only over in it, but I'm going to also layer it on top. So I'm going to use every bit of this one roll. Then I'm going to take the second roll, and that's what I'm going to put on top of my peach cobbler. Now we're going to cook this for 40 minutes inside of a 350 degree oven, and that should be enough cooking time. Okay, so that's all that I need for that, and I'm going to meet you in the stove, at the stove, where we're going to pour the peaches in, and then we'll put the rest of our pie crust in, and then we'll get ready to put the top portions on. What I will do though before I go away, so I'll just have it ready when I get over there, is I'll just go ahead, because the only thing we're going to do with this is we're just going to layer it across the top of our peach cobbler. So we're not going to put the second roll, we're not going to put it in the actual peaches. We're going to layer this across the top. So I'm going to take like 1-inch pieces, and this is what I'm going to use to make me just a little crusty top on the top of my peach cobbler. Now if you don't like your dough to have that really doughy, uncooked taste to it, which it doesn't taste like that, it just tastes more like a dumpling, but if you want it to be more crispy, then you can cook these in your oven for a little while before you actually put them into your cobbler. I wouldn't cook them any more than about 2 minutes. Some of them do cook it longer because they like that crusty type crispness that you get from having cooked it in the oven, but I'd rather have mine like dumplings, so I do mine this way. Either way, peach cobbler is still going to be good. So I have these all cut up to layer across the top, and I have these to finish putting over inside of my peaches to make my dumpling, and I'll meet you at the stove. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic recipe. You're going to love it. Meet you at the stove. Okay, now I'm at the stove, and this is beginning to get ready to boil, but I don't think that I have enough nutmeg and cinnamon in here. And like I told you, I do this really, this is something that I just know. It's just in my head. But when I get ready to give you the measurements, I'll just take them up just a little bit. So I'm going to add an additional teaspoon of the cinnamon and the nutmeg. And I can look at it, you know, really, and tell just from knowing how it's supposed to look whether or not I have enough of the ingredients that I want to have over in this. Now, this is fine, but this is not thick enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to start to add my cornstarch. And that's just half of the cornstarch. Now this is going to thicken as it cooks. Now I did turn my stove on. I told you 150, but it should be 170. I'm sorry, I told you 350, but it should be 375. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of my thickening agent. And I'm telling you, this is really, really good. You will truly enjoy it. Okay, I can feel with my spoon that it's getting a little bit thicker. And I'm going to go ahead and add the balance of it. Now I'm going to cut my stove off. And as you can see, it's thickening up real nicely. I'm going to go ahead and pour this over inside of the dough that I have here. Okay, so all of that is in. And the little pieces that you saw me over there with, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting them in. Now, you know, I do this by eyeballing it. So you can make your pieces as big or as small as you may want to, because this is going down over inside. This is not going to be actually on the outside. This is going to be on the inside with your peaches and everything else that you have down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and poke this down in. And I'm telling you, this is really good. I have done this so many times. And you can't tell the difference. But it's the easier way to do it. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run some dough across the top. Now, if you want to put a little egg wash on this, you can. You just take a little bit of water and mix it with, or beat it with the yellow of an egg, and then just brush it on your dough pieces, your top dough pieces. And what it will do is it'll give a shine to it, and it'll also help it to be crispier and brown up really pretty. But I don't do that because it's going to brown up anyway. So then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put this the other way. And I did pull 11 out just a little bit. And for this one, this last piece, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to put it down this side. And this was real simple to do. My little pieces that I have left over, take one and put it there. Pick the other and stick it there. Y'all know I don't believe in throwing away nothing. Take care of my edges. Now, if you want to sprinkle yours with a little bit of sugar, you can. You can sprinkle it with a little bit of sugar. Once you put your egg wash on, you brush it on here, then you can just go ahead and sprinkle it with a little bit of sugar. The only thing I'm going to do is to sprinkle mine with a little bit of sugar, and then I'm going to go ahead and bake it off into my oven. Again, that's 375 degrees for 40 minutes. That's all that you're going to need to do, and then it should be ready, and I'll bring you back. Here's just a little bit of sugar. That I'm sprinkling on the top. Okay, I'll go ahead and put that in my oven, and I'll bring you back when it's completed. Okay, now I'm back and it's ready. I'm gonna take it out of the oven. There it is. And look at how bubbly it actually is. Here, look at this. I'm not gonna cut it yet because we're not getting ready to eat dinner yet. But if you can look at how thick my glaze is. See how thick it is? And as it cools, it's going to get even that much thicker. My crust is brown. And this is really good. I'm telling you, it's really easy to make, as you can see. And this is really good. I think that if you try this, you are truly going to enjoy that. Chris is making peach cobbler, and you can't tell it from me slaving over the stove making the crust. So I told you what to do. All you gotta do is just throw some flour in your face, kind of rub it in a little bit, and they'll think that you've been really slaving over the stove. As always, thank you for watching. Chris cook for you too. Bye.